We've asked throughout the day, even though you may have a relationship forged with our personnel here, for those watching around the world, if you would, please identify yourselves in the room and the agency that you're with. And we will start, Nick, on the third row. Coach to your left, it will be Bob Holliday. To your left, Coach.
Hello, Coach. Bob Holliday, WRL.com right here. Over your first 5 games last year, you averaged 166 yards per game on the ground. Over the last 7, nowhere close to that. 4 games where you didn't even break 100. And this despite having 2 running backs who are now good enough to be in the NFL. Was it because of injuries, say, to the offensive line, or was it actually by design?
Yeah, I don't know exactly if I can give you that. I think it's more about winning. And at that time, Devin was throwing the ball pretty good, you know, and Emeka and some of the guys making plays. Our offense is built to take what we get. But there is a mentality about rushing the football. I do think the loss of Chandler Zavala, which happened in conjunction with what you're talking about, was a bigger loss than probably people thought at the time. He's a very good run blocker for us, and having him and Icky next to each other presented a pretty big challenge to the defenses we were playing. But definitely an area we want to improve upon, and you know, I know it's something that room takes a lot of pride in.
Coach, to your right, center of the aisle.
Hey, Dave. Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. I'm curious for a coach to have a returning quarterback, to have a player with that level of experience. How does that maybe dictate the pace of how quickly you can install and do things in camp, and overall just how big an advantage is it to have experience at that position?
Yeah, I think, you know, if you look at the Atlantic Division, all 7 teams have their quarterback returning, and so all of us have the same blessing right now. It's different, you know, when you know who that guy is and you like what that guy brings to the table, and he's a good leader, and he can not just go out and execute your offense, but in Devin's case, he's doing different things than he was doing last year and the year before. He's studying defenses. He's not worried about what our plays are or how he runs our plays as much as he is what he can do to help teach those plays to other players and how he can get the guys around him to perform. You know, so he's in a different place, you know, which makes what's going on our team different. You know, if you don't know who your quarterback is, it's a lot different dynamic, you know, for the entire roster, even the defensive guys, you know, because the leadership that comes from his position is paramount.
Coach, to your left, right in front of you.
Coach Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com, right here. And so looking at the fact that this is the last time we're going to see divisions in the ACC, how you're handling that and looking at that 3-5-5 model, and if you've been a proponent for wanting those top 2 teams in the conference to really be the ones that get to vie for that championship.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about it, Dan. I was one of probably many coaches on our side of the division. You know, as a player, and just use Isaiah as an example, you know, he's a Virginia native, and we're going to play the schools from Virginia twice every 12 years, so he'll get to play them one time maybe in his career, you know, and for us, we play Duke one every 6 years, you know, and I just don't like that cycle of playing other teams in your league, particularly teams that are close that you recruit against, where players are going to be on your team and would like to go play back against those other teams, you know. So on top of that, I think the best 2 teams should play each other for the championship game. You know, I think that's how it ought to end up, and it ought to be settled on the grass. Even if it's a rematch, it ought to be settled on the grass, you know. And so I like the dynamics of that. I'm excited about it and excited to get to play the other teams more often. I just think that's good for the television, it's good for the fans, and it's really good for the players.
Coach, right up the center aisle to your left. Sir, please stand. Thank you.
Jonas Pope, News and Observer. Coach, we've asked the players this, but in the offseason, when all the guys started the run it back hashtag and so many key pieces started to return, what were your thoughts about that, and what did it say about the culture and what you guys are building that so many guys want to come back for this last year and try to do something special?
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes that they want to be a part of it, you know, and several of them could have left that were healthy, Corey Durden and guys like that, you know, and some of them needed to come back because of injury, and it doesn't happen if you don't have that kind of setup, not just in the locker room, but with player to coach, coach to player. I'm very proud of that. You know, I think we're the only staff in the ACC that had all 10 assistants return. We had at one time the fewest number of players in the country in the portal leaving our roster. And we had a lot of players return, as you mentioned. So I think all of those things are indicators that it's a great place not just to play but to work. And so I'm very proud of that because it hasn't always been that way. It's taken time, not just on my behalf, on the players' behalf, on the coaches' behalf, the chemistry, getting it right. And so it's fun to be a part of that transformation and very proud of it.
Coach, to your right, just about the seventh row.
Hey, Coach. Colin Wilson with Action Network. NC State athletics has been interesting lately. The baseball team in 2021 got removed from the College World Series. The 2022 team was the last team in. The women's basketball team had their struggles with some things. And last year, the football team, day before the bowl game, got the rug pulled out from under them playing in a wonderful bowl out west. Is there more of a chip on the shoulder of this roster, just more of an attitude of ready to take control, just, you know, than other seasons that you've had before with, and maybe that plays into some of the players coming back, but is this roster particularly looking forward to getting revenge on maybe not playing a bowl last year?
Yeah. Well, you're a doom and gloom guy, huh? I mean, damn. That was day of the bowl game, by the way, not day before. I wish it was day before. We might have found a team to play us. But, yeah, we've had some tough things happen. And I think, you know, adversity creates opportunities. And nobody likes, you know, feeling like you got the raw deal, which several of our teams have probably felt that way. It's going to come full circle. And we're going to be smiling at the end of it. And I believe that wholeheartedly. It's about how you act and how you respond and who you're with. And I'm with three incredible people today, but I get to go to work with a great staff and a great locker room. And that's going to come full circle. It will. You know, I believe that. And this is going to be a great time for that to happen. You know, I know our fan base feels the same way that you talk, that there's been some bad things for whatever reason, and would love to set the record straight that we want to get that right, you know, and see the right things happen. And I believe, you know, when you do the right things over and over and over, eventually it comes back to you, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Coach, to your left at the aisle, gentleman standing fourth row.
Hey, Coach, John Dales, WAER. What gets this team over the hump to win an ACC championship?
It's another play, you know. I think anytime we lost 2 games last year that kept us out of that game to win it, and it's one more play that you have to make. That's it, you know, and whether it's a defensive play, an offensive play, or a special teams play. You know, we lost 2 one-possession games, and had we won either one of those, the Wake Forest game, we recover an onside kick right on the 10-yard mark, and you know, replay says we didn't get it. We make that play, then we probably go score and win that game. You know, Miami game, there were several plays that prevented us from winning, and if any of those plays changed, we win that game. So it's really no different than how we beat Clemson. You know, Devin threw a pass to Devin Carter in the corner of the end zone, and we made a play. And that's how we won that game. You know, UNC game, Emeka makes a play from Devin. Chris makes an onside kick recovery, Chris Dunn. Emeka makes another play. And that's how you win football games. You know, there's a lot of mistakes that happen on both sides. At the end, it's going to come down to one player making sometimes a routine play that changes the outcome of the game. And so for us, it's just doing that repetitively. You have to do it, you know, in every game you play in the conference.
To your left, second row.
Hey, Coach, Steve Reed from the Associated Press. What do you think about the depth of talent at the quarterback position in this division?
Yeah.
Can you also speak to your own quarterback and what your expectations are
Yeah.
of Devin?
Yeah, I've never seen it. As a head coach in this league, where all 7 teams in the Atlantic had all their quarterbacks starting, returning. So it's unique. I think you're going to see a slugfest. I mean, we know, you ask our players, when you play ACC football, every week you got to show up. It's a very well-coached league. It's a tough league. The kids play hard. And every time you go out there, you got to earn the victory. And if you're playing a team whose quarterback's not savvy, doesn't have experience, and yours is, you have a great advantage. And so we don't have that in any game as far as playing against a non-starter. And as far as our guy goes, you know, I think his stats speak for themselves as a player. You know, I mean, things he did, taking care of the football, the clutch throws, the 2-minute drives, the red zone performances. But on top of that, you know, as you get to know Devin, the human being that he is, the teammate that he is, the coachable player that he is, the family person that he is, that's what makes it fun to coach him, you know, and God blessed him with arm ability, but the family that raised him gave him the opportunity to be the young man that he is. And so I'm privileged to coach people like that. You know, it's not always like that. You don't always get people that you get a coach that are humble. And with him, it's been a great journey, and just look forward to extending it.
Same general area, Coach. First row, though, to your left. Same spot.
Joseph Jones, CarolinaGridiron.com. Last year, you held opponents on third down, a very low success rate. Going into this season, how excited are you knowing that you have some really solid defensive starters coming back? How can you then utilize this to improve what was already a really good opponent third down percentage?
Yeah, I think Coach Gibson and the defensive staff, you know, present different things that are unique. And our scheme, the 3-3-5, allows us to do a lot of things, to hide things, to bring pressure from different places. And it's simple. It doesn't seem simple to the teams we're playing, but to the kids, they can play really fast in that scheme. How do we get better? To me, it's about creating more fumbles on defense. You know, if we can continue to do what we've been doing, stopping people on third down, intercepting the football with takeaways, when you get more sacks, you usually get more fumbles, you know, and I think just creating more short fields for our offense, you know, and that's the one area, if you look at us statistically, would be getting the ball back through the fumble category more, and that to me happens when you sack the quarterback more. You know, I think that's where the ball gets fumbled most probably. So we're going to work hard, you know, in this training camp coming up, and every single facet of what we do. But I know if you ask Isaiah and all the guys, it's always about getting better. It's always about raising the bar on our program.
Left side, fourth row.
Right here, Coach. John Eads with Orange Fizz. You got all-conference defenders up and down every level, especially in the second level. You got 2 all-conference linebackers right here. Is this the best defense you've had in your time in Raleigh?
Well, it could be. I mean, last year's was statistically, and now these guys and all of us have a goal of being better. Like I just said, it's always about raising the bar. So last year's defense statistically did a lot of things that we haven't done, and so now it's about improving upon those statistics. Last year's stats don't win this year's games, you know, so we need to go do it and go out there, and I think these guys understand that it's not easy, you know. I mean, every time you go out there, you're going to have to prove it, and you have a circle on you on the calendar now. You know, you're in a little different position. So with the notoriety and the stats comes people's best efforts, right? And so that's what we're up against right now.
Coach, your final question, back to Bob Holliday on your left.
Coach, you lost Peyton Wilson early with an injury. Still had one of the 2 best defenses in the league. How is Peyton? What impact do you expect him to have? And with so many players returning, I think you had 10 out of 11. How high is the ceiling for this team defensively?
You know, it's interesting because last year there was one towards the end. It might have been the bowl game, but we had 8 starters out going into the bowl. I think we played UNC with 7 starters out on defense. And so that says a lot about the guys that stepped in, like what Levi did, you know, playing for us last year, the way Josh Pierre-Louis stepped up at nickel, Devin Boykin comes in at safety. It was like each week a new guy came in and just elevated play. You know, C.J. Clark goes down, and we move Corey Durden to nose, and he's all conference, you know. And so a lot of really cool things happen that way. And what that did is create depth for this year because now the guys are back, like Peyton that you mentioned, along with the guys that played all season, you know, like Drake. And so it built, you know, that depth in your roster. And so now we can rotate, or if you have a guy out, you feel better about what's coming in the game. Peyton's 100%. He feels great. He's excited. I'm happy for him. You know, I thought last year would be the last time I coached him, you know, and so I think he'll tell you that it wasn't fun going through what he did, but he's in as good a place as he's been mentally right now. So I'm very excited for what he can bring to the field for us this year.
Coach, thank you. You can switch spots with Devin. Folks, we'll have about 5 minutes with Devin, and hands go up immediately, so we will slide up the aisle. Devin, to your right. Mike, if you would, please identify yourself.
Hey, Devin, Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. You heard me ask Coach just about having experience at your position. What changes for you? How much more do you understand about what you guys are doing and maybe what opponents are doing at this point in your career?
Yeah, I think just first it starts with advancing our offensive system. You know, now this being my third year in the system. I got to take that next step of, getting us out of bad plays to bad looks. And I think that all starts with, focusing more of defensive ID, kind of bringing along younger guys too. I have a really good grasp of the system, and guys that we need to step up, kind of teaching them and making sure that they understand what they need to do. And just in general, having the whole offense understand from my perspective, just being in the system for a good amount of time and just keep collaborating with Coach Beck.
Front row, right in front of you, Devin, to your left.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Your left tackle obviously moved on to the NFL. Just what you can say about what he brought to the line and who you see stepping up there to fill in those shoes as you get set for the season.
Yeah, Icky is a tremendous talent. I mean, there's a reason why he went 6 overall. I mean, he's an awesome player, but even an even better person. And I think that really translated to our offensive line because, I mean, those dudes do everything together. I mean, they work out together, train together, eat together, hang out together off the field. And I think, we have a bunch of dudes that are trying to compete to get that starting spot that Icky was in. But I know with the other 4 offensive linemen that we have coming back that they hold that room to a high standard. So whoever is filling into that role, they understand that the other 4 offensive linemen will be counting on them just as they did on Icky.
Devin, up the aisle to your left, right at the edge.
Jonas Pope, N&O. Devin, Coach has talked about raising the bar. It'll be a lot of eyes on the program this year. If you guys live up to the expectation and take care of business, what would that do long-term for the brand and the recognition of the NC State football program?
Yeah, I think it would do a lot for the NC State program. Each and every year we do have high expectations. And, a little bit of what we put on film last year, we're kind of earning that respect a little bit. But, for us, we know at the end of the day, nothing is accomplished until what we do on Saturdays. And, that's all that's going to matter is how we perform on Saturday. And, if we prepare each and every week like the way we're supposed to and perform that the way we're supposed to and capable of doing, I think this could raise the standards to this program tremendously.
Devin, to your left, third row.
Bob Halliday, WRL.com. Devin, you had an interception just once every 86 throws. No other quarterback can come close to that. In addition, Coach talked about you have the ability to throw in tight windows. Coach talked about the Clemson game. We could also mention the win at Pitt when you threw a back shoulder throw, with 2 seconds left. It's a perfect strike between the defender. My question is, how much of that accuracy is judgment as to exactly what nanosecond to let the ball go? How much of it is maybe on your receivers? How much of it is just pure accuracy on your part? Break that down for us.
Yeah, I mean, I've always prided myself on accuracy. Playing the quarterback position, getting with your receivers and tight ends, it's all about timing and spacing. And I think that really all starts in the offseason, making sure that I understand the way that each and every one of my receivers runs their route and how I want them to run it. And on top of that, just really being prepared for what defensive look that I'm getting to certain coverages, whether, certain routes are going to convert versus certain coverages or not. Just being able to be on the same page as everyone, but also making sure that, I'm able to layer that ball into a second window, or if I have to zip it in, I'm able to do that, and kind of just being able to get every aspect of every throw is something that I work on a ton.
Devin, your last question from the podium. I'm curious for the room to learn this. You're predominantly left-handed, but you learn to throw with your right.
Yes, sir.
How is it in your childhood that you learned to throw with your right?
Yeah, so growing up, just from an early age, I did everything left-handed. I still write left-handed to this day. My dad is actually a completely left-handed person as well. He was a pitcher in college, and growing up, he thought I was going to be a left-handed pitcher, and I think I was like 5 years old. I was throwing left-handed my whole life until then. One day I picked up my older brother's glove and tried out righty, and turned out I could throw a little bit better with my right arm, so I just stuck with it.
Thank you for taking us through that. You can switch places with Isaiah.
Thank you.
5 minutes with our linebacker, graduate student Isaiah Moore, who would like the first question. We're going to go to the aisle, right in the center, get back to a gentleman we've already seen here this afternoon. To your left, Isaiah.
Isaiah, I wanted to ask you the same question I asked Devin. If you guys have a successful year and accomplish all your goals, what would that do for the brand and the image of NC State football moving forward nationally?
Yeah, I think when we all came to NC State, we wanted to put NC State in a place where it's never been before. And while That's still in progress. It hasn't been done yet. So, for the brand of NC State, I think it would, do wonders for it. And we're always trying to get better as a group, and that doesn't stop with our brand as well.
Isaiah, right in front of you to your left, first row.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Isaiah, I know that you have obviously, when it comes to NIL, gotten involved, right? You have your clothing line and whatnot. Just what you can say about what your experience has been like with name, image, and likeness, and what it meant to you that Drake rocked one of your shirts to show support for you.
Yeah, I think NIL is it's something that's continuing to grow, across our country and then in the sport. I think it provides student athletes with a great platform to not only build just monetary value right now, but have some longevity as well with an increasing platform of social media and things of that nature. As far as Drake rocking my shirt, that meant the world to me, considering what happened to me the week before, and the way he played in my absence that following game. It meant the world to me.
Devin, we're going to get, Isaiah, I'm sorry, we're going to get the microphone right side about the seventh row, sir, if you'll please stand.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Hey, Isaiah, David Thompson, USA Today Network. You missed part of the season because of an injury. How did losing football for a little while kind of reignite that passion?
Yeah, definitely. It humbled me tremendously. I put a lot into last season, and I put a lot of hopes and dreams into last season, and to have that taken away from me was definitely tragic. It was humble, and it was emotional. Really, to just be frank. But it definitely reignited a passion about how much I love the game and how much I really, really want this to be my life career, and it's just continued to spark, and I plan to use that as my fuel this season.
Isaiah, stay on the right on the aisle there.
Hey, Isaiah, Miles Williams with the three-point conversion. You were just harking on your injury, but are there certain things that you took notice to off the field that you learned about, on the field, certain things that you can't sort of grasp on the field?
Yeah, I think anytime you go from being on the field a lot to being on the sideline, I think you look at the game differently. You look at different things differently. I think one of the things I did tremendously was I took a look back at our entire scheme and how we attack people and how people attack us, and I try to just gain a better understanding of that and try to pass that on to my teammates throughout the year, and I want to continue to pass that on to my teammates as we come into this next year.
Stay on the right-hand side.
Hey, Isaiah, Colin Wilson with the Action Network. Last year, 342 total snaps, only 2 missed tackles. What can you attribute to being such a great tackler?
I just try to be as consistent as possible. We always preach about coming in and being the same guy every day, and I just try to be the best me that I can be every day. As far as not missing tackles, I just try my best to remain focused at the point of attack. Not shoot until I can smell his breath is what we say as far as our tackling technique, and just try to be strong at the point of attack and bring him down. It doesn't have to be pretty all the time, but as long as he's on the ground, that's all we need.
Isaiah, your last question, left side, buried back.
Hey, Isaiah. Trayvon Miles from ABC 11 in Raleigh. I want to get back to the topic of NIL. The players have been adamant about wanting to see it open up. Some of the administrators in schools have said they want to kind of see some regulations on it. I know you can't speak for all players, but I was wondering what you thought about that and what you think when you see some other players in some other conferences making a ton of money versus others that really don't do so well.
Yeah, they say comparison is the thief of joy. So what we get as far as NIL, at NC State and the platform that we have as individually as student athletes, that's kind of just who we are. We can't, cause if we sit around and compare that to other schools or what other players are doing, then we're taking away from all the things that we've accomplished and all the things that we put forth to make our platform the way they are. Like I said, NIL provides us with a great opportunity to continue to grow that platform, but it's up to us to really take action and do so.
Isaiah, thank you. You can switch places with Drake. We'll spend our last 5 minutes with Drake Thomas, linebacker junior out of Raleigh, and we will start Drake to your right, just up the aisle at the edge.
Hey, Drake, Mike Barber from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. I'm curious, when Isaiah went out last year, what kind of an influence, impact did he have on you? Was he able to help you, give you any advice, both on the field for the position and then some of the leadership stuff as well?
Yeah, he definitely prepared me for the moment, just putting on display what a good leader
and a good, someone in that position, how they're supposed to go about their everyday business. Definitely prepared me to step up into that role, and I can't thank him enough for everything that he helped me with through that process.
Drake, first row, right in front of you on the left.
Drake, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. The versatility that you have now going into this season, having to fill in for Isaiah, and then being, having that experience in the middle as well as on the outside, just what you could say, how it's improved your game and what you bring to the table now in that linebacker unit.
Yeah, so I've seen, I've played on the field from all three linebacker positions now, Mike, Will, and Sam. Going into the Louisville week when I had to fill in at Mike, I hadn't played Mike in 2 years, maybe since my freshman year of spring, something like that. So it was a little bit new, but, every single thing that I've had to do, whether it was switch positions and adjust or whatever, it's made me that much better of a player and a person, just having to adapt and continue to push forward and, do whatever I can do to get, the defense going and, play the best of our ability.
Drake, left side still, about the fifth row.
Kenton Gibbs, locked on Wolfpack. So when you have guys like Isaiah Moore and Peyton Wilson and yourself in the linebacking core, does it embolden you to be more competitive or to push to another level in moments where they aren't there? And like you said, you showed up in Louisville and made excellent plays to keep a quarterback like Malik Cunningham under wraps. Like, how does playing with guys like that impact your play?
There's a competition between us three every single time we step into the building, every single day. Whether it's workouts, whether it's practice, whether it's in the game, it's a race to the ball. We're trying to make plays, and we push each other to get better. We want the best for each other every single day in everything that we do, but it's also competition, and that makes me so much better of a person and a player.
Drake, to your right, second row.
Hello, Drake. Darrell Owens, Legacy Maker Sports Network. My question is this: you've had a chance to look over the off season, kind of see, spring has went by. You had a chance to see all your fellow teammates. Is there anybody in particular you say to yourself, man, I can't wait to see that person on game one? Maybe somebody we don't get a chance to see all the time, or maybe we don't get a chance to hear about them all the time, but there's somebody you're excited to see in game one?
Yeah, I think there's a number of guys that kind of stepped up in the spring because there's still some guys hurt, still some guys injured that didn't participate through the spring. So I think there's a number of guys. Example is Davin Van, Anthony Smith, just some young guys that have got some playing time but haven't necessarily have been asked to have as large of a role as that they're going to have. So Josh Pierre-Louis is another one that I'm excited to see. Just there's a number of guys that I'm really looking forward to see, and I know they put the work in, and they're going to make a huge impact for us on Saturdays this year.
Drake, your last question from the podium, just 21 miles from your high school to Carter Finley Stadium. What's it been like here at the podium? What's it been like, right over here? What's it been like for you to play so close to home and to the high school field?
It's been a blessing, really. My family, they make it to every single game. My parents, my little brother, they can come to watch practices. They can come help me move my apartment. It's been a blessing. And not just my parents, though. Growing up in the area, just having people who have supported me along my whole journey, being able to still be a part of my journey and still support me and still be, in the area, be able to come watch my games. I'm very thankful for that, and it's definitely not taken lightly or for granted.
Drake, thank you. NC State, good luck this year. You are excused, and good luck the rest of the day as well. Folks, Boston College is due in the room at 1:45. Thank you.
A special linebacker core there at NC State. We've got Isaiah Moore and Drake Thomas joining us on the other side. Look, teammates helping teammates here in Charlotte. Okay, camera ready, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to ACC Football Kickoff. Let's take a look back at a memorable year for the Pack. QB Devin Leary threw 35 tutties, breaking Phillip Rivers' single-season program record. That defense was elite as well. The Pack allowed fewer than 20 points per game, second in the ACC behind only Clemson. NC State capped the regular season with a dramatic win over rival UNC. Pack trailed by 9 with 2 minutes remaining, but came back to win in the most improbable of ways. Unfortunately, Pack was unable to compete in a bowl game as the Holiday Bowl against UCLA canceled due to COVID concerns that may or may not have been legitimate. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Join now, Isaiah Moore and Drake Thomas here with us. And guys, your defense is very scary. And it's because of two guys like you and a heap of other linebackers in that core, Peyton coming back. I don't get to ask questions like this, so I'm going to ask you. We lock all those linebackers in a room. We say one of you guys has to come out alive. Isaiah Moore, Drake Thomas, who is it?
Man, I don't think any of us coming out, man. I don't know. Yeah, man, we gonna fight to the end in that room. It's gonna be rough.
That is a vintage pack answer right there. Guys, let's talk about expectations. Because as you sit here right now, a lot of people believe this NC State team may be the greatest NC State team to ever take the field. You guys haven't played a snap yet this year. How do you deal with expectations like that?
Yeah, I just think, we let the outside, talk all the noise, but we have to take care of our business in the facility. We look great on paper, man. We look really, really good on paper, but we got to go out there and play a game. We got to go out there and try to go 1-0 each day, and that's the mentality we just try to preach.
Yeah, we know that outside noise, all the talk, it really has no impact on Saturdays, And we need to focus in on being consistent and showing up every single day to practice, workouts, whatever it is, and on Saturdays being the best version of ourselves, because that's when we're the hardest to beat.
Man, I know you got your teammate Peyton out here as well, but, I believe you're the best linebacking core in America. And a big part of it is because your experience and your leadership. Just start with you, Isaiah. What's most important to you about leadership, and how are you trying to help lead this team?
Yeah, I think the biggest part of leadership is trying to hold others accountable. Just being able to understand the standards of your program and understand the culture and just inflict that in a positive way on your teammates and get everybody to buy into the same message.
Yeah, like I said, total buy-in is what you need to, reach the ultimate goal. You need everyone bought in and moving in the same direction. So that takes place every single day. Workouts, everybody showing up with the same mindset, ready to attack every single day and get better. I think that's what it takes, and that's what we try to to get everybody to do every single day.
Drake, I want to follow up on that because I agree with Coach. I think your guys' core is unbelievable and really has an opportunity to the whole defense, but that linebacking core to make unbelievable noise. Drake, you were placed in a really weird position last year where two of your brothers went down, and you had to kind of emerge. I'm not saying you're not a vocal guy. I'm not there every day, but I saw you become a vocal guy, and I saw you get uncomfortable for your team. What was that process like?
It was quick. It was a quick turnover. I really couldn't flinch at all. And, I had these guys' support, so that was definitely helpful. They, showed me what it looked like to be a great leader, to be a vocal guy on the field, off the field, whatever it is, be the voice of the defense. And, I think I really took advantage of that. I took advantage of the opportunity, and I think I really tried my best to step up and do the best I could for my team, and, I think it paid off.
I think it did too. You're a first-team all-conference guy, so I definitely think that worked out. So, guys, I led by talking about expectation, but for a long time, the program at NC State was about the chip on the shoulder, what people don't believe you guys can do, and that's fueled you guys to overachieve, some would say. Now that you are in that position, I'll start with you, Isaiah, where it's like, we expect the greatness. I know you said you don't pay attention to too much of it, but how does that mindset change? Do you still look to try to find places where people are slighting you guys?
Yeah, for sure, because, we haven't won the ACC championship yet. That we didn't accomplish that goal last year. So until we do that, we're all going to have a chip on our shoulder. That's something that hasn't been done at our school for a very, very long time, in football. So that's something we want to do and leave a legacy at NC State.
What was a favorite moment from last year with all the highs of the season that was one to remember? And I know you guys are looking to build off it. Most of it's rear view. I know you guys will give me that answer because you're professionals and vets in your own way, older, wise men here. But when you look back and celebrate what you did, what sticks out?
I would say that Clemson win. The Clemson win was a huge turning point for our program. I hadn't been able to do it in a while. Kind of felt like a get over the hump moment. And I think it's like something that we can really build on moving on to this next year and learn from the experience.
Yeah, definitely that Clemson moment. But not even just in the game, but seeing Coach D with a red Solo cup outside the facility, man, that was
this
awesome.
should be on TV, Isaiah. We got our producer in our ear calling to show it. Let's take a look at that look from Coach Dave Doran. Had the red cup, had the cigar in his mouth, was talking to us. It was a very memorable moment in Raleigh for certain there in Carter, Philly. EJ, go ahead.
Fellas, as you watch the film in this spring from what you guys did last year, obviously you had a great season, but what aspect of your defense do you want to improve this coming season?
I think one of the most outstanding stats that we had was that we didn't recover a fumble last year. We had a good amount of sacks. We led the league in interceptions. but not being able to recover fumbles and get that ball out and get those 50-50 balls, as they're called. That's a big thing we need to improve on. And I think, just showing up some things, from a communication standpoint, and just make sure we're all on the same page. We always preach never get bored with the basics, so we always try to just enforce our day one principles each and every day and just get better at them.
Yeah, just to build off that, obviously we want to get the ball back. We did a good job, in the passing attack, getting interceptions, getting our hands on the ball, tips, equals picks, and stuff like that. But just continuing to rip at the ball, with the ball's on the ground, get on it, just taking advantage of those opportunities to get the ball in our offense's hands. And just getting more consistent. There are some games where we did struggle a little bit, whether it was the passing game, the running game, but I think that comes with experience and leadership and just having mature guys in the locker room, just continuing to be more consistent week in, week out, every single week.
And we got to give credit to Coach Gibson, our DC, for everything he does for us on a daily basis, and the standards that he enforces and the standard he holds us to on a daily basis. He preaches, gets the ball out, and we try to do that each and every day.
Guys, what about the offensive side of the ball? Because I'm sure in practice, Devin hates going against you guys, but you get to see that every single day.
Yeah. Right, both of them had the same thing.
He probably knows. They probably know the offense better than he does.
He hates it, man.
I'm sure he does. But what have you seen from him and the steps that he has made and the leadership, the playmaking ability? I mean, this guy he's one of the best in the country, and you get to see that every day.
100%. I mean, he comes to practice every single day with like a confidence and a swagger about him that doesn't go unnoticed. It's just something about how he approaches every single day, just very recognizable. Like I said, he's confident, and his competitive nature, it just pushes everybody around him, everybody out there on the field every single day to be that much better.
Yeah, there's a running joke going on in the facility that the linebackers steal the offensive playbooks during spring and fall camp.
Y'all do.
No, but D. Leary, man, he's just a different breed, man. I think we've seen over the past 2 years when he's under pressure, he never folds. He had the ice in his veins, and then the amount of trust and confidence he has in himself, it's very contagious. It's contagious to the team, contagious to the offense. We got a lot of guys around him who believe in him and that'll play for him.
Fellas, look, I played at Florida State, obviously. One of the hardest places for us to play was at NC State. Played there twice. I think both times we might have lost. The first time we lost to Russell Wilson. The second time we lost late in the game. Won't talk about it.
I think I was at that game.
How important were you? Okay.
Yeah.
How important are your fans, man? Because I feel like they're like that 12th man for you guys, especially on the defense on those third downs. That's when it gets the most loud.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we don't take it for granted either. We're super thankful for them. They show up, rain or shine. Games going well, games going bad, they're there. They're loud, and they're causing problems for the other offense especially. And on third downs, it's fun to be out there. It's fun to hear the crowd. Sometimes it makes it hard for us to communicate it a little bit, but we embrace it. That's a part of who we are.
Yeah, I mean, we were undefeated at home last year for a reason, man. And a lot of that is because of our crowd, man. They bring it each and every day, like Drake said, and they're going to let us hear about it. They hold us accountable, too, for sure.
I'm going to add Peyton in the question. Explain each guy's personality as quickly as you can. Start with you, Isaiah.
Peyton is relentless, and that's probably the best way I can start it. Whatever Peyton sets his mind to, he's going to do it. Like, there's no doubt about it. And then Drake, he's very strategic, I would say. I guess he's the brains of the operation, I would say. He takes his shots, he takes his moments, but he's very strategic in what he does.
I'll let you say, but
Isaiah is like the vocal guy. He's the one who says things when something needs to be said. He's that leader that you see on all great teams. They have that one leader, that one guy that's going to be in the middle of it, saying all the things that need to be said in certain situations and that everybody looks up to, everyone respects. He's going to get things done for the team and put the team first.
It's pretty cool to see all three of you guys have a different role, but the same mission.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very cool, and you can see you guys are impressive young men. But seriously, who wins if I put you guys in? I'm just messing around. I'll tell you what, you talked about Pack Nation, and they make our job fun because you guys do have a feverish fan base that adores what you guys do out there on the field. The beauty of it is you give them something to cheer very loudly for. There'll be a lot of cheers in front of you this coming season with the expectations that, looking in the eyes of these two, you guys are ready for the cause and the call. So we look forward to covering you on Saturdays this week. We appreciate the time, guys.
Appreciate you guys having us.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, we're looking forward to it, too. Looking forward to this as well. Coach Doran just getting set to come. I wonder if he brought any solo cups or cigars. It's about that point in the day. We'll talk to NC State head coach Dave Doran after this.
Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina.
That place is going crazy right now.
Leary to the end zone. Caught! Miraculously, Carter! What a play by the Wolfpack!
It was crazy because he called a play that we haven't repped in practice all week. But I got behind the defense, and Leary found me.
4th down for the ball game. Incomplete. NC State rides on the strength of the Pack. Woo! The Wolfpack come away with the massive upset.
Wolfpack fans never going to get tired of reliving that one, that is for sure. And that was just one of the memorable moments from a great season last year. Quarterback Devin Leary, he threw for 35 touchdowns, breaking Phillip Rivers' single-season program record. And how about the defense? It was elite. They allowed less than 20 points per game, second in the ACC, only behind Clemson. And then NC State capped the regular season with a dramatic comeback win against North Carolina that led them to a bowl game that unfortunately was canceled due to COVID-19 concerns on the UCLA side of things. So, didn't get that bowl game in, but we did get a great season from the Wolfpack, and we are joined now by their head coach, fresh off the podium, and sitting here with us now, Dave Doran. Good to see you, Coach. And listen, we may never get tired of reliving that Clemson game and the moments and just what a incredible scene that was afterwards, but I don't think we're ever going to get tired of the cigar and the Red Solo Cup video either, that we just have to rerun over and over, which I know isn't just good after a win, it's good on like a vacation too. Did we get any cigar and Red Solo Cup moments over the summer? Did we get any breaks?
Oh yeah, we definitely did. Yeah, I just got back from a nice trip in Montana, and then two of my sons and myself went up there and fished a little bit and listened to some good country music, and came back. We were at the Lake Gaston where we kind of hide out, which is definitely a Red Solo Cup place to be. But it was a good summer, good family time. Had a lot of good friends come visit us.
What's top of that country music playlist right now?
Zach Bryan, I think, is kind of been hot. My son's turned me on to him. He's awesome. Really enjoy listening to him.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right.
Coach,
I got it. Yeah. Tell me, I saw the Ozarks. I saw that's the show that you watch. Which character are you most like? All right.
I don't know.
Marty,
Like any of them,
Wendy, Ruth. Give me somebody that you're just like, all right, that's my person.
I enjoy watching that show. I mean, I grew up in Kansas City and been to the Ozarks, and I don't know how many times. Had family who live there, so a little personal side. Been there, seen it. I enjoyed watching Ruth's character, though. I have to tell you, I'm not going to imitate Ruth, but most of the words she says are not appropriate for television. But, that's a great show.
How much more entertaining is it for you to come do this particular event when you know you got a really good football team?
Yeah, it's a lot more fun, and just in general, your day-to-day life, knowing that you got returning starters and a quarterback like we do. But being here, the questions you're asking are a lot easier to answer because I actually know the answers to them. A lot of times it's who's going to do this, who's going to do that, and I generally don't know until we get into training camp. So, a lot of our focus is on things that are on the other teams right now. It's a nice place to be.
And in terms of that, Coach, and I know we've talked about this before, in terms of hype, expectations, what are you looking for specifically with an experienced team that is expected to be a national factor?
We just want to get better. I think it's about every day going to the field with the right mindset. It's a team that didn't win the league last year. I mean, we have a lot to prove still, and we want to win this conference. We want to be in Charlotte in December and win that game and see where that takes us. So the only way to do that is to be able to make the plays that count in the games and those big plays at the end, which we made in some and didn't make in a couple.
By the way, do you know the date of the ACC championship game?
I think it's my birthday.
It is your birthday. And I looked that up. Nice. I said, if we get Doran on this set, I'm going to say, hey, you know what? Yeah. You and I got this deal about eating pancakes when you win that championship.
I know.
You know what? We may have to do something in case it works out December 3rd.
Some fun
right here in my
pancakes.
back town. Right here in my town now. We may have to do something with them.
No,
you
I'm
like
all
that?
about it, man. Let's go.
All right. You got it.
Coach, we heard you say on the podium just a little while ago where you were asked about Peyton Wilson, said that he's 100%, which I know is just great news for you guys. But it's not just him. You have so many guys that have battled back from really tough injuries. You look back a couple years ago with Devin. Obviously, you never want to see any of these guys go down. But what's it like to have guys in your locker room that have battled back, that you know how much the game means to them because they were so close to missing out on it?
Your heart goes out to these guys. and when you have an injury like that costs you part of your season or all of your season, it's a huge perspective opportunity. The guys usually come back not just physically well, but their mindsets are better, because they truly learned how much they love the game. I know Peyton will tell you he's in a great place mentally. And so him and others that we've had to go through it, what I want to see is all of them playing the season together. We've had to really endure some tough things and a lot of different weird type injuries, Peyton being one of them. So, to get where we want to go, we need the blessings, the Lord's blanket over our team right now. And I'm excited for these guys. They've worked really hard and they've been through a lot.
I'm curious about the running game, Coach.
Yeah.
We know what Devin Leary can do. We know some of the receivers out there.
Yeah.
Tell me about this running game that you guys got.
Well, it's not going to be Devin Leary running, I can tell you that. No, we're excited. That's a room that is under the radar right now.
Yeah.
And for good reason. Ricky and Bam carried the load for us, and they're both gone. And but Jordan Houston's waited quietly for his opportunity, and we're excited for Jordan, excited for, Delbert Mims, excited for DeMarcus Jones, excited, for that group of guys. And there's some guys you don't know about, that are going to emerge in that room. Demi Sumo being one of them, we have a lot of hope for. So Michael Allen, one of our signees last year that came in mid-year, had a really good spring. But it's a room that needs to prove itself, and I think there's a chip on their shoulder about that.
You got an interesting opener with East Carolina on the road. For folks that don't know, right? For folks outside the state of North Carolina, they hear NC State, East Carolina, whatever. When you grow up in this state, there is no love lost between those fan bases. That is a passionate fan base in the eastern part of the state of North Carolina. Obviously, Wolfpack Nation's fired up. With a team with your experience to go on the road, and they will have had that. Hey, they'll look at the date and they'll circle that bad boy right there, September 3rd. The Pack's coming to the Dowdy-Ficklin. Isn't that like the perfect opener to be able to take an experienced team on the road, hostile crowd? They're going to be fired up. It's their Super Bowl. To me, it's a perfect litmus test for your team right out of the gate.
Well, yeah, that team has tremendous passion in their fan base. Their fans, they get after it, and we played there early in my career here when Ruffin was their coach, and they were really good. Lincoln was their offensive coordinator. They had a great team. And that was one of the hardest places to play that we played all year that year. So I've told the team that we're walking into a tough environment. I think it is good for our football team to play in an environment like that. We understand the importance of the rivalry, and I have a lot of respect for Mike Houston and what he can do as a coach. So it's a game we're going to have to prepare and play well in.
First road opener for you guys not at home, but on the road since 2008. But at home, you guys have had just so much success. Coach, how important is that to what you guys are building there? And what do you think's been the biggest key to that? Is it the pride of the guys? Is it something you're preaching? What does it boil down to?
There's a lot of factors, I think. Carter Finley, as you know, is a great game day.
Yeah.
And it's taken a while for our students and our fans to understand that they're a part of us winning, and not that they don't come, but that they're energetic and the way that they apply themselves to the game, not just watch the game, but try to intimidate the team we're playing. And our student section is, unbelievable. Even our sideline, if you watch our players, the way they cheer on the team. And I think the student section and our sideline are the heartbeat to get everybody going. And so, to have the first undefeated team at home in 35 years was a big step. And we want to keep that going. And we're going to have to play well on the road. That's how to win the league. We got to go play at Clemson, and they don't lose at home very much, if at all. So taking that show on the road is going to be a huge step for us.
10-game home win streak that you guys have going on right now. Pretty impressive stuff. And I can speak to what it's like on the sidelines, because when I'm there on the sidelines, you hear absolutely nothing when you take your headphones out. Your quarterback, Devin Leary, I know you're so excited to have him back for another year. And we've talked just about how good all of the quarterbacks in the Atlantic are and in the ACC in general. Is there one thing that you've seen from him this season, this offseason, that has kind of even impressed you even more? Because you already know what he can do. You already think that he's the best, not just in the conference, but one of the best in the country.
He's special. If you stood on our field and see the ball come out of his hands, you immediately are like, wow, that ball's different. But his accuracy, last year I felt like his decision-making took him to another place, not hurting the team, because he's helped the team, but not hurting the team with interceptions and turnovers. Now you're seeing him do things behind the scenes that he wasn't doing, the way he's teaching the offense to younger players, watching film with other guys, talking to them about leadership opportunities. the things he's doing as the quarterback that's the leader of the team that no one else gets to watch, that's the biggest difference right now. And when it comes to football, his focus isn't the offense, it's the defense. You know, he's really learning about defensive football right now, and I think that's going to help him.
Before we let you go, we've been talking a lot about fashion indirectly and shoes, and I can't help but notice these phenomenal socks.
Yeah, we got the Wolf. You know, we got the Wolf socks going right there. You think those are cool, right?
I like that. Nice.
Yeah.
Pack likes things for the basement. He's got the new show. Maybe we can get him a pair of Wolfpack socks for the
now,
future.
here's what I do have. This man right here signed it.
Yeah.
The pancake syrup.
That's
and
right.
now the Big Icky's right here in the Queen City coming back home for the Panthers. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
That pancake syrup will not be opened until NC State wins the ACC football championship.
Let's open that thing in December, buddy.
December on your birthday. By the way, are we going to go clean shaven for the opener, or are we going to keep
I don't know.
fly
I don't
fishing?
know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
To be determined?
Yeah, TBD.
Wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens this season as well. Coach, looking forward to seeing what you guys are able to do and build on last year, and all the returners you have come back. We appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Go Pack.
They have their quarterback back, and that helps for NC State, one of the best in the country in Devin Leary.
Now pressure on the edge. Leary gets away from it to the end zone. That's a dangerous pass and a touchdown.
My goodness!
School record for touchdown passes, very much in reach for him. Back to throw once again. To the end zone, and caught!
You know, Tim asked me, do you want us to run the ball a little bit? I said, no, Devin's hot. Let's just go score.
Yeah, I would say that worked out pretty well for them and for Devin Leary. You take a look at some of the stats he put up. Also passed Phillip Rivers last year. School record 34 touchdowns, and that is from back in 2003. So had been there quite a long time. And we've got Devin Leary here on set with us now. Devin, always good to see you. And I know you're an old pro at this point. But let me start with the guy that you're sitting next to, because I heard you made your way to the basement, and now you're here hanging out with Pack again. I mean, you guys are just best buds over there at this point, right?
Yeah.
I am the Heisman candidate PR guy. And, you know, you snuck up on me with the ultimate quarterback sneak at the basement. You passed the sniff test with Chester and Fuller.
Yep.
Everything worked out great. It was a blast. And then you handed me beet juice. You said, Pack, you got to try this. And it was the most disgusting. I mean,
I thought you liked it.
Well, it was disgusting. But so I thought the least I could do, since you're here. And here we go. Here's the beet juice right here, right? And I sniffed it, and it was brutal. So I chugged it.
Oh, you took it down like a champ, though. Way to go.
Right?
Way to go.
I did.
You did.
I did. And I think I had COVID right afterwards. No, I didn't. Yeah. So I thought the least I could do is since you brought me the one. Oh, it's nice and cold, brother. So let me tell you something. Try that.
I'm gonna have to try it right now.
Yeah, right now, man. So we're gonna turn the
We
table
need
on
you to
a
try
little
it,
bit.
so none of the rest of us have to try
I
it.
can't chug this whole thing.
You do whatever
don't do
you got to do. You're
Don't
the
do
Heisman
that.
guy, all right? It smells great, right?
Is it a good idea to smell it first?
Yeah.
It's gross. It is so gross. All right, there it is. Watch it. Is it great?
Great. Fantastic.
Try it.
Try a little swig.
Oh, man.
You don't mind, do you?
Gives you good
Wow,
energy.
man. Okay. The Pat's gonna. He's going all in. You didn't have enough the first time.
Oh, no.
Oh, come on.
no. So, it
And
is
your
so
teeth
awful.
and your mouth are red. Good God. Wolfpack red is
just
what we
in time
got
for the
right
commissioner.
there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is
Leave
the
some for the
secret?
commish.
Can I know the background story?
So, I mean, just before a game one time, I talked to our nutritionist. I'm like, I need something to like get me going. Like, she's like, hey, this is like one of the most natural like energy shots that you could take, and it was just a shot of beet juice. Took it the first game, we won, and I'm like, I'm doing this before every game. So, so I've been doing it ever since.
Are you a superstitious guy?
I'm usually not, but I mean, like I felt more energy a little bit after I took it, so I'm like, it's got to work, so just stuck with it.
Man, the other thing I know about you, Devin, is first of all, you're a hard worker and you've overcome so much adversity, but you're a competitive guy. To have the opportunity to come back again after all that you guys achieved last season, but you still felt like you guys left some stuff on the table, just how driven are you for this year?
Yeah, extremely driven, extremely. I mean, just being able to come back with everyone that decided to come back. I mean, we're a veteran team. We have a whole bunch of great leaders that hold many people accountable on our team. And I mean, the expectations are high, but I mean, that's exactly how we want it.
Wow. So tell me, you're one of the smarter quarterbacks in the league, clearly by your interceptions. And what do you see when you come to the line of scrimmage? What are you looking at? Are you checking plays? How does that work for you?
Yeah, so I just go through my pre-snap sequence every time, checking the front, checking the stacks and overloads with the linebackers and the safeties, finding where the different tilts are, whether it's a tip to pressure, make sure I'm protected. And then, from there, just really looking at my matchups on the perimeter. And, for me, the biggest thing is, if it's a bad play or if I get in trouble, it's always fine to throw the ball away and live for another down.
Can you change the play at the line of scrimmage? Are you to that point yet?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I am. If we got a play called and we got a bad look, it's up to me to get us out of it into a better play call.
So what are we doing with the Heisman campaign? Since you last made the appearance at the basement, I saw you with the snow cones with the kids. That was a cool deal, right? So what else are we working on with the campaign?
So recently I actually went with Delbert Mims and Demi Sumo, two of our running backs, and we actually played some street football with some neighborhood kids.
Does Coach know this? One is star quarterback play a little street. I don't care how much beet juice you're sucking down.
No.
Come on now, what are we doing?
I mean, it was two-hand touch, so we stayed up. It was all good, but that was the last thing we did, and it was awesome. I mean, the kids had a ball, and I had fun too.
Devin, what's it been like kind of getting to know this group? You've got some great wide receivers returning. I know you have a big loss losing Emeka, who you guys all really leaned into a lot. But what's it been like this offseason, kind of getting to know these guys more and then the development and progress that you've made?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, just to see how anxious everyone is to, fulfill that role that Emeka was in. Guys are really hungry to prove themselves. We have a deep group of receivers, a lot of young guys, and obviously having Devin Carter and Thayer Thomas back, they do a great job of, leading that group, making sure they know what the standard is to compete at such a high level. And, I mean, the young guys are embracing it at all, so it's very, embraceful, and I'm very excited to see it.
So based on what you went through with your leg, you saw a number of your teammates go through something similar with injuries. What you went through, how were you able to help them out through this process?
Yeah, I mean, just really relaying to them that, this isn't going to define their career. Mm-hmm. In that given moment of being injured, not being able to, really be out there with the team, it's hard to see, at the end of the tunnel. Mm-hmm. And me being a guy that's kind of been through it and kind of had success after my injury, just relaying to them that, everything's going to be okay. Just keep your faith strong. Stay true to working hard, getting rehab, getting back healthy, and whatever you put into this game, you'll get out of it.
You kidded around with me in the basement about Carolina fans, Duke fans, and we up here on Tobacco Road. You opened in East Carolina. As I mentioned to your coach when he was here a couple hours ago, there is no love lost between East Carolina and NC State fans. So are you getting any text messages from Pirate fans who've gotten a hold of your number yet, or somebody you run into in the mall, or maybe it's street football or snow cones or all the other stuff you're into?
No, I didn't run into anyone yet, thank God. But
it's coming. I know
it's coming. I know it's going to be a hostile environment, and, I mean, we can't wait to get down there and compete.
Take a look at that schedule. East Carolina going to be the first one in September 3rd. Devin, we're sitting up here. There's lots of bright lights, lots of cameras. That just comes along with Media Day. But there are a couple extra cameras that have been following you guys around. We've got them over to the side right now, all mic'd up and ready to go. Going to get your reaction to it in just a second. But right now I want to give you guys a look because on August 14th, you are going to get the debut of All Access with NC State football.
Wow.
We've got a little sneak peek of it right now. Take a look.
I got high expectations for this football team, as our fans do, as our community does. I think they're primed to be ACC champions this year. That's the expectation.
I'm Dave Doran, the head football coach here at North Carolina State. I just want to welcome everybody to our pro day.
Is your QB going to be a senior?
He's a redshirt junior.
Is he going to throw today?
He is. Oh, that's awesome.
He's about to look good out here.
It's good memory making, man. I think some of my favorite childhood memories are just fishing with my grandpa on a dock. That's fish. Good bass right here, boys. Bad day fishing beats a good day at work.
They say when you tear your ACL, it never hurts. I couldn't control what happened to me against Miami, but I can control my reaction going forward.
As a family, we come down here every year during the 4th of July.
Once the season starts, there's no time for stuff like this. So just having this downtime just right before camp starts, it means a lot.
Man, looks like we're going to get a little bit of everything in that 3-part series. The debut is August 14th. Seems like you might be ready for a reality show now. Are we ready to join one?
Yeah, apparently.
If you had to join a reality show, it would be which one? Can you pick one?
If I had to join a reality show, I don't know. That's a tough decision. I'm not sure if I could pick one.
Yeah.
Kardashians.
No, nobody wants to part of that.
I said reality.
Yeah.
The question was reality.
Honestly, maybe The Survivor. I think that would be pretty
that's
cool.
a good one. That's a good one.
By the way, who's got the best beard on the team? And that includes coaches.
The best beard on the team?
Yeah.
Honestly, I might have to go with Coach Garrison, our offensive line coach. He could grow a pretty nice beard.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Coach Dave Dorrance he can sport the beard.
Yeah,
he's got the look. He's not sure if he's going to go clean shaven for the opener.
Yeah.
He's not sure yet.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think I'm in a close running too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You're not?
Good to see him kind of outside of his element too, which is actually more in his element in that series where we see him fishing and doing all of those things. What was it like and what has it been like kind of having everybody get the inside access to what it's like to be a part of this program?
Yeah, it's been really cool. I think just like for people to understand how we are as people off the field and kind of get a feel for, when we put in work, we go really hard and, we're really intense when it comes to the weight room and practicing, but off the field, we're a bunch of laid-back dudes that love each other. And I think that everyone that's tuned in will be able to see that for sure.
So cool to get to see the other side of all of these athletes that people really, really know and love. And don't forget your beet juice. Also, I've been waiting this whole time, Pac, if you could just hold your hand up to the camera. Nope, the other side. I've been wondering if that beet juice was going to get anywhere the whole time or if Devin was going to help you out. But,
Let me tell you something. When I get home, Chester and Fuller, it's theirs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Devin Leary, we appreciate the time as always and looking forward to seeing what you guys are able to do this season starting September 3rd with East Carolina.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.